A huge and completely unexpected surprise finally shook the public, especially the ARMY, when an unforeseen decision from Taehyung became an emotional turning point for Jungkook. The question now filling the minds of many is very simple, yet full of meaning. What kind of decision could make a Taehyung, a figure long known as calm, composed, and rarely impulsive, suddenly take a shocking step that ultimately left Jungkook so emotional that the world's spotlight once again turned to the two of them? This fact not only shook the hearts of fans, but also raised a huge question about what is really happening behind the scenes of their relationship and the tightly concealed internal dynamics. The initial reactions of fans, spread widely across various social media platforms, showed an almost uniform shock. The ARMY were not only stunned by Taehyung's action, but also shaken by how Jungkook reacted with emotions rarely shown in public. Until now, Jungkook had been known as someone disciplined, composed, and always strong under any circumstances. Yet this time, his emotional expression was so clear, as if no filter could hold back his feelings. This is what broadened the questions. What truly underlies Taehyung's decision that its impact on Jungkook was so powerful? It cannot be denied that their relationship has always been under public scrutiny. Taehyung and Jungkook's interactions over the years have created countless speculations, analyses, and even controversies that fans and industry observers never stop discussing. However, this latest event presented a different dynamic. It was no longer just casual interaction or small coincidence, but a major decision that seemed to shift many perceptions. The ARMY, usually divided in their views, this time agreed with one voice. Something very serious is happening, and Taehyung appears to be the key figure in this event. Speculations emerged. Some said the decision was related to career paths, a step that might change the course of their music and public image. Others considered Taehyung's decision to be more personal, touching the emotional bond long built between him and Jungkook. Whatever the cause, its impact was undeniably significant. Jungkook appeared deeply emotional, even creating a moment unforgettable to fans who witnessed it. The hanging question now is, was this decision carefully prepared or born of sudden pressure and circumstance? This context only deepened public curiosity. Why would Taehyung, known for caution, choose such a shocking step? Was this part of a larger secret strategy, or did internal conflict force him into a drastic move? Furthermore, what long-term effect would this decision have on Jungkook, who clearly displayed such intense emotional reaction? These questions keep circulating in the public's mind, while definite answers remain tightly closed, leaving broad space for endless speculation and analysis. This incident also revealed another side of Jungkook. As one of the members most consistent in maintaining composure and mental strength before the public, tears or deep emotions were rarely seen. But this time, his expression seemed unstoppable. The ARMY saw with their own eyes how Jungkook tried to hold back his feelings, but ultimately could not hide them. This is the moment that made the event even more monumental. Not only Taehyung's surprising decision, but also Jungkook's reaction, which added another dramatic layer to the event. Across forums, many fans began linking this moment with previous signs. Video clips, brief interactions, even facial expressions at various occasions were now reanalyzed. The ARMY tried piecing together the puzzle. Had this long been prepared? Was this moment the culmination of signals previously unnoticed? The more questions arose, the greater the unavoidable curiosity. The public seemed trapped in a spiral of mystery that offered no answers, but instead led them to far more complicated questions. Taehyung's shocking decision seemed to test Jungkook's emotional endurance and, at the same time, test the ARMY's loyalty to remain through uncertainty. Some felt the step was proof of courage, a sign that Taehyung was unafraid of risks for something greater. Yet others saw it as potential conflict, as though hidden dynamics never truly revealed to the public were finally surfacing. Meanwhile, Jungkook's reaction became the center of attention, because his emotions not only showed shock but also signaled that the decision had deep personal impact on him. In such a situation, social media became an unstoppable arena for discussion. Keywords about Taehyung and Jungkook dominated global trends, with millions of comments flooding every platform. Interestingly, most ARMY comments this time were not merely expressive, but filled with questions. Many tried searching for small clues, analyzing gestures, interpreting words, even drafting long theories about the meaning behind this event. All of this shows that the impact of Taehyung's decision was not only personal but had reached a collective dimension, stirring the emotions of millions around the globe. The biggest question now hanging is, what are the consequences of this decision? Will Taehyung's step bring a positive new direction, or create an emotional distance harder to bridge? What about Jungkook, who clearly showed how deeply the decision affected him? Did his emotions reflect disappointment, gratitude, or confusion? No definite answers exist, but one thing is clear. This moment has already been etched as one of the most dramatic events involving the two of them, a moment that will always be discussed in the future. The ARMY now stand at a crossroads between pride and worry. Pride for Taehyung's courage, yet worry because Jungkook's reaction showed the decision was not without burden. It is that emotional burden now in the spotlight. How will Jungkook face this situation? Will his emotions influence his next steps in career and life? All these questions still hang, awaiting time to reveal answers, while endlessly fueling unquenched curiosity. Amid all this uncertainty, one thing is certain. Taehyung's surprising decision has created a massive wave that touched not only Jungkook, but also the entire ARMY who witnessed it. This wave carried emotions, confusion, and big questions still spinning in the public's mind. And until the true answer is revealed, this incident will remain a shadowing mystery, one that demands full attention from anyone who cares about the dynamics between Taehyung, Jungkook, and the great story behind their names. The public is still caught in confusion after the shocking issue surfaced about Taehyung's decision, said to have left Jungkook so emotional. Yet the most fundamental question to be asked is, does everything we hear truly reflect reality, or is it merely fragments of a narrative intentionally crafted to create a dramatic effect in the public sphere? Amid the overwhelming flow of information, we must pause and consider, is what appears on our screens verifiable fact, or just emotional manipulation spread to draw attention and controversy? Every TikTok video, every Twitter post, every YouTube clip, every article published across portals, all have the potential to shape public opinion. But how much of it is truly rooted in reality? Was Taehyung's decision real, or merely a constructed narrative exaggerated in scale? Moreover, was Jungkook's emotional reaction truly born from sincere feelings, or could it have been positioned to strengthen a dramatic image in public eyes? Now is the time to be skeptical. Why? Because in the digital era, reality and illusion often intertwine without a clear boundary. Are we truly witnessing authentic events, or are we victims of visual fabrication polished with certain goals? Is it not possible that what seems emotional is merely subjective interpretation of carefully chosen clips? And is it not possible that every detail we believe to be true is in fact part of a marketing strategy meticulously designed? These questions should not be brief reflections, but calls for deeper analysis. Why are so many people quick to believe information sourced from social media without verification? Why are we as viewers so easily swept away by emotions, knowing these platforms often prioritize sensation over accuracy? Does this not show how fragile the foundation of public trust becomes when confronted with popular narratives wrapped in dramatics? Looking deeper, this case is not only about Taehyung and Jungkook, but also about how modern mass media works. Could it be that this issue is merely a reflection of old patterns where public attention is exploited for certain interests? Was Taehyung's decision truly that impactful, or was social media amplifying it to create a hot topic? If so, are we not caught in a trap of sensationalism that leaves no room for reasoned analysis? On the other hand, we cannot entirely dismiss the possibility that the event was real. What if Taehyung indeed made a decision that truly touched Jungkook's emotions to the point he could not restrain his expression? Can we immediately call it fabrication simply because it looked dramatic? Is it not true that the lives of public figures are often full of emotional moments not always under control? If so, are we wrong for being too suspicious? Or is the media wrong for too often presenting without full context? A critical stance does not mean outright rejecting all information, but rather testing the validity of every detail. For example, does the viral TikTok clip really show the whole event? Are the long Twitter threads based on verified facts, or merely personal interpretations that spread into mass opinion? Do the articles across portals contain data accountable for, or are they merely repeating trending narratives without deep research? All these questions matter, because without adequate answers, we are only passive spectators of a digital drama, perhaps no more than illusion. At this point, we must urge ourselves and all readers to reflect further. Do we truly seek truth, or only emotional satisfaction from a convincing story? Is there not great risk if we keep consuming every piece of information unfiltered? Are we prepared for the bitter reality if it turns out that everything we believed was only a hoax designed for certain gains? And if so, who bears responsibility? The media that spread it, or us for never being critical in response? This event also mirrors the dynamics between celebrities, media, and fans. Are fans merely consumers whose emotions are exploited, or do they also bear responsibility to keep the public sphere healthy with critical attitudes? Is it not ironic if the ARMY's genuine love and attention are turned into fuel to perpetuate sensational narratives that may not be true? And are we aware that every click, every comment, every repost strengthens the media's position in spreading information not necessarily factual? Therefore, the most relevant question now is, how should we respond? Should we continue to be carried away by emotions without reassessing the truth of every piece of information? Or is it time to start building a healthy culture of skepticism, where every claim is tested, every proof examined, and every conclusion questioned before being accepted as truth? Are we brave enough to withhold belief, even when the narrative presented feels so moving? The answers to all these questions are not simple. But one thing is certain: we must not let ourselves be ruled by sensation without logic. If HYUNG did make a major decision, it must be analyzed with clear evidence. If Jungkook truly showed deep emotion, it must be understood with full context. But if all of this is fabrication, we must realize that we are being played by media strategies designed to exploit our curiosity. Are we ready to accept that reality? Are we able to admit that what we believed might only be a story built for certain parties' benefit? More importantly, are we capable of distinguishing between reality and sensation in a world where the two so easily merge without boundary? These questions are not empty discourse, but deep reflections that must be answered by anyone who claims to care about truth. In the end, what happened between Taehyung and Jungkook, whether real or fabricated, will remain debated. But how we respond to the debate will determine whether we become passive viewers, easily deceived, or critical individuals able to judge wisely. So, are you truly convinced this event is real? Or are you beginning to see signs that it is nothing more than media play? Are you brave enough to question the truth of every detail, or will you choose to drown in an endless wave of emotion? The answer lies in your hands, and that choice will decide how this digital history will be recorded.